My name is Duke Mwesigwa, and we are going to be speaking politics and current affairs. Lewis, I'm happy to host you today.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here, and thank you so much for the great work, Duke.
Okay. SG, we have seen, let's start from there. We have been from the presser, and we've been saying about the serere by-election, where you're endorsing the ANT candidate. What has caused this decision?
We are the United Forces of Change. We believe in the unity of the people of Uganda, and we believe that we should not just go for elections for the sake of it. We should go there with a purpose. So every time we have a candidate who believes in the same values that we believe in, who believes in the cause that we believe in, we decide to support those candidates. So that's why you saw us go to Soroti last time. Now that's why we're going to support Honorable Ali Salaso, who we believe in as a lady of values, who believes in what she says. So we believe we can go and support her and she wins.
Do you believe that it will happen to you for you to have a one candidate? Because if the rumors we have, they want to have their own candidates different from yours.
That's okay. You know, for us, we want to show leadership, and we don't. Of course, it would be good if FDC also supported this candidate, but they also have their policies, they also have their considerations and decisions. For us, we're NUP, and before we go into anything, we first sit and discuss and see where it should go.
Where does it leave these candidates NUP who have dropped out of the race? Where does it leave them?
It leaves them stronger, because you see, it's not just a matter of you going and contesting. Like I said, for us, the struggle that we're involved in as Ugandans is bigger than, even being an MP. We have a parliament of 512 members of parliament, but what is it doing for the people? So we only look at these positions to advance the cause, the struggle for a better Uganda. So these are our candidates. We sat with them, and good enough, it was consultative. It's been for a long time, back and forth. ANT approached us, and then we started discussing and debating amongst ourselves. So they leave this very strong, because it is for a good reason that they got out of the election.
Well, let's talk about the abductions. I saw a report. The Prime Minister was reporting in Parliament that NUP is saying that they have abducted people, but they're not reporting them to the police. And then she went and said that they have only 5 people in their custody. For you, you're reporting numbers and numbers. Where are numbers coming from, the numbers you're reporting? Yet the government agencies are saying that you don't report, first of all, at the police. Second, even human rights came out and said that some of those people that are arrested, they're culprits because they don't find you walking and they arrest you.
Now, first of all, you know what the law says. If you arrest anyone, you must produce them before court within 48 hours. But the moment first of all, when you arrest someone, you need to identify yourself. If you read Article 23 of our Constitution and Article 28, they give you the parameters of how you should limit someone's freedom, and if you take them to court, what should happen. Unfortunately, most of our supporters are picked up, taken to places which are not gazetted as detention places. Someone is kept away for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, for a month. That's an abduction. Now we have people who have been missing for over 2 years. Some have been missing for over 4 years, like Chibarama John Bosco. So that woman, first of all, Nabanja, shame upon her. The woman, Wangadia, the one in charge of Human Rights Commission, shame upon her. Because these are mothers, you would expect them to understand the pain which the parents of these people are going through, which the spouses are going through. But how can Nabanja come out to, mockingly talk about these things? If you say these people are criminals, take them to court. Let their relatives access them. Then the second thing, I've just given you a copy of the list. You can play it to the viewers, where I submitted a list last year of 25 names, and I told them that there are more people, because you see, abductions are ongoing. When they arrest people today, when they abduct a person now, and they release the person after 2 weeks, that does not mean that the person was not abducted. The person was abducted and maybe either produced before the military court. I gave an example of Bobiwine. I gave an example of Kavuma Jamshid. Kavuma Jamshid was kept for 30 days when no one knew where he was. Then Bobiwine was recently kept for 8 days when nobody knew where he was.
People use social media wrongly. They attack, they treat people, they abuse them. Maybe they...
But even if I committed the worst crime of murder, because murder is a capital offense. You need to take me to court. That's what our laws provide for. Even if a person is a terrorist, take them to court within 48 hours. That's what the law says. So if you say someone has abused you and you're not happy, there are laws which will take care of that. But if you get, there's a young man called Motive Kasaga. You remember they took him, beat him up, tortured him, Masereka. They took him, tortured him, and then eventually dumped him somewhere. So all those are criminal actions, and that is why we even took Museveni and his people to the International Criminal Court, because these are crimes against humanity.
I see you're trying to do a lot to help these children. How are you getting this funding? Where do you get these funds that you've been able to sustain these families of the lost people?
No, we rely on support from different sources. We have members of parliament who support us every once in a while, but we also have well-wishers. Some people don't even support NUP directly through the secretariat. We give them contacts of the family members, and then they help them directly as long as they're in touch with us, so that we avoid any issues, security concerns and all that. So we try, even the little resources we get as a party. I can tell you that, like last year, about 70% of all the money received went on welfare. There are many other cases that you don't get to see. You have so many other people who are abducted, tortured, arrested illegally. Then there are those who we support who run to exile. So we try to help these people as much as we can.
SG, I know you don't have much time here. Let me ask you this question. We have a new kid on the block, the MOZ, the MK Army. It's sweeping everywhere up country where your party seems not to have a lot of grip on the ground. And this party, it has a lot of sources, it has attracted a lot of the youth attraction. You've been the one kid on the block. Now we have the MK, the MOZ Army. What do you make of this project? It's going to take away your position.
I don't know what lenses you're using to say that, because of what you're seeing, I don't see it.
Last time I saw the swept.
I am telling you that I don't know. I don't see what you're talking about. One, Muhoozi is not a new kid on the block. No, he's not a new kid. You cannot tell me that Museveni is here and then he's trying to bring his son. He's moving around with the military, state resources, security and all that. How can you call this a new kid on the block? It is part of the Museveni establishment, the corruption that we are trying to fight, the dictatorship, the military regime. So you don't have any new kid on the block. It is the same system. You just tell me if there is any new person who you've seen emerging. They are the same people, the NRMs who are trying to introduce. You know, Museveni has done terrible things in this country, and now he thinks he can do something even worse by imposing his son on the population. So you can see that even you're talking about Sebe and Arua. Everywhere these people have gone, you've seen people come out to say, oh, we've been ferried, now we are stuck, we don't even have food, we don't even have transport to take us back. The same thing Museveni has been doing. Every election cycle, he will pick people. General Museveni will go and even if he is here in Kampala, they will go to Ntungamo, Chiruhura, get their mobilizers, put them in buses, bring them to Kampala, take them back. Just because they know that they lost legitimacy. That's why they ferry people from all over. You remember there's a time when there was a video moving of that man called Balam in a market, telling people, come, giving them money, giving them t-shirts and all that. That's how Museveni has been operating for all these years. So it is not, there is no new kid on the block. Just allow Honorable Chagulanyi and then you people operate freely and see if you will not close your things and go away. If you will not pack your things and go away. Just allow NUP to function. You know, just allow Honorable Chagulanyi to have a rally in Arua tomorrow and then you will see if you want to close that city. Allow him to go to Mbali without bringing in tear gas and all these things. So there is no new kid on the block. The people of Uganda are there and they know what is good for them. They know the struggle that we are involved in. We are not in this just for fun.
There are rumors that he has a party, National Progressive Movement, that is even attracted a lot of members of parliament.
It doesn't matter.
Last time he had a birthday at Piketogo, he had almost 100 MPs.
It doesn't matter. Did you see any MPs there? You saw NRMs there. So I've told you that it is the same thing, Museveni and his people. And I want to caution you because you are a media practitioner. This man has tricked this country. Every 5 years he brings a new trick. You know, if you just go and read his history, When he came in 1986, he first said that he would only be in power for 4 years. Then after the 4 years, he says, let's first have a new constitution. Then after the new constitution, he says, let me first organize the army. Then after that, he says, oh, we need to first finish the war in northern Uganda. Then after that, he says prosperity for all. That is what he has been doing. Then he removes the term limits. Eventually, he removes the age limit by bringing those tricks. So one thing that Museveni is trying to do is to make Uganda a monarchy. And every single Ugandan out there, you need to rise up and defend your country before it is too late. Because that is how countries like Syria ended up where they are. Dictatorships all over, the dictators always take over a country and they believe they can rule it with an iron hand and then hand it over as a gift to their children. If you allow Museveni to impose his son, then his son will have no reason why he shouldn't bring his son. So then you end up with a country under capture like we are now, but it becomes even worse if you allow that. But what I wanted to say is that what we are dealing with is not showbiz. We are not just competing about who has more crowds. We are dealing with real issues. The people of Uganda are suffering. Education. Just go to the countryside and see what kind of education the children are getting. Healthcare. Today, if you got an accident, God forbid, in Gulu, probably they will have to bring you up to Mulago for you to have access to some. And even in Mulago, you will need to first pay $1 million or even more to be admitted there. Agriculture, you know, the produce of many of our people is just rotting in the gardens because there are no markets. In some other cases, people have been deprived of their land. Go to Nakasongola, Nakasekeruwero, and all other places, especially here in Buganda, and see the levels of land grabbing that have taken place there. So the issues we are dealing with are very, very critical.
As you end up this interview, it's a new year to oust Museveni before 2026.
NUP, every day when we wake up, we are struggling to end the military regime. That is what we are doing. That is our struggle. So our struggle is essentially about removing Museveni and his people and establishing a new Uganda. So if you ask me about the strategy, we are going to continue doing whatever we are doing. You've seen us engage in mobilization, Kunga activities. We are building structures. We are reaching out to the people. We are using the media. You see our president moving to different parts of the country and us leaders. We're doing everything possible. But most importantly, the people of Uganda who are watching us need to know that this is not a Museveni struggle. This is not a Besigye struggle. This is not a Kyagulanyi struggle. This is not a Duke struggle. This is a Ugandan struggle. This is a struggle for the people of Uganda. The border riders, the teachers, the religious leaders, the traditional leaders, all of us. So the question I would ask you is, what are you doing? You who is watching us, what are you doing in your big or small power to change the situation in Uganda?
Thank you so much for your time to accept to speak to us here on Media Estate.
Yeah.
Last one, quick. Seki Nyamamadi and Alan Sawanyana. Recently, the Chief Justice came out and said that their case is going to be heard as soon as possible. What's your final remark on this?
Shame upon him. Shame upon him. The Constitution of Uganda provides that there must be a timely trial. You must be heard if you are arrested and detained. This will have been in prison more than a year without trial. What kind of country are we living in? But why do you arrest? Why do you arrest people before you do investigations? Because before you come and arrest me and take me, you must have evidence that I committed an offense. So if you can spend more than a year looking for evidence, then you are hopeless. Do you know what the cost which these comrades have had to pay? You know, you imprison them, their constituents have no representation at the personal level. Do you know, have you seen a child of 1 year and 3 months, how old that child is? And you can imagine now spending all that time in jail. Imagine what you can use 1.5 years for in your life as an individual. So it is very, very unfortunate that Mr. Onyindolo came out to say, okay, they will be tried, it will begin. Okay, let the trial begin, but shame upon him and the entire judiciary he leads. But also you need to understand that Honorable Segirinya and Sewanyana are members of parliament who have a certain clout and people know them. But I can tell you there are hundreds of people. Some have been on remand for 6 years, 5 years. A person spends 5 years in jail without trial. So what kind of country is that? You know, so this is why we are struggling, and that is why we call upon all Ugandans to get involved in changing their country.
Your final remarks.
I want to appreciate the people of Uganda for supporting the National Unity Platform, for loving our president and supporting him. I want to call upon them to continue supporting change and all efforts to change this country. We have only one country, and it has, you know, we all know the challenges which our country has. Let us not give up. Dictatorships everywhere always seem impossible to dislodge. But it is through small actions of every individual. We are 45 million Ugandans. If every Ugandan purpose to say, let me do something to change my country today, I can assure you in a very short time, the regime would be off and Uganda would be a better place for all of us.
I remain Duke Mwisigwa here on Media Estate. Have a lovely time.